And as Maurice says, Dr. Maurice Dolberry says on the Super Fantastic Show, colleges are a match to be made, not a title to be earned. If you're going to do it right.
Yeah.
Key topic, something we've talked about over years,
Yep.
and that has been developed out of mishap and then rethinking and put back into practice is, drum roll, who gets to choose college?
Oh, that's what we're talking about. Okay.
Is it like when you and I went to college, or is it different? And
Okay.
Backdrop, let's talk about how we went to college.
My uncle had recently graduated from Howard Law. And so that was on my radar. We had just seen, we being me and a friend of mine, 7th grade, we had just recently seen
School Days.
School Days,
Which, by the way, is the replacement. It's the black, culturally, replacement for Animal House, which did the same thing for non-black audiences.
Really?
Is motivated them to go to college. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we had just seen that. So we both decided, I think that she and I both had a conversation, and maybe she had somehow heard about Howard. I don't remember. It's too long ago. But we did decide, I remember we were sitting at like Carl's Jr., and we sitting at a table outside eating, and we were like, okay, so then we're going to go to Howard. And we stuck to it ever since. There was no other discussion of any other schools.
And that was in like middle school.
Yeah, that was 7th grade.
And so that's 7th grade. When you get to 10th grade or 11th grade, you're now dealing with your guidance counselor or somebody like, there's got to be some connective tissue between knowing you want to go to a place versus how you actually navigate.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, so my same friend is now at Howard, because we're talking about like senior year. And so she gives me a call, and we're talking about homecoming. And she's like, it's not like the homecoming you're used to. And she said, you know what, there's a volleyball coach here. I'm going to go and talk to her. Had to do a video. Long story short, I got a full scholarship to Howard University for volleyball.
Right. Your friend's name was Charla.
Yes.
Charla was
Yes.
on the swim team at Howard. And I got to Howard a year before you did. I actually know Charla, or I met her in my freshman year before I ever met you, before you ever met at Howard.
Yeah.
I knew your friend Charla. And how I knew her was she was on the swim team, and my neighbor in the freshman male dorm at Howard, Sherwin Millette, was from Trinidad. I don't know if I want to go into the impersonation of Sherwin again, because Sherwin talked like Dracula.
But Sherwin.
Brendan, this is my friend Charla. Isn't she beautiful? Charla, this is my good friend Brendan. So that's how you got there. How I got there was when I was leaving high school, to get to choose your college. Once you decided you might know where you want to go, there was a phone book, size book, of every college in the United States.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of pages and is all in alphabetical order. And that's a horrible system. That's pre-internet.
Yes, it
that's
is.
pre-CDs. That's,
Hopefully they don't do that.
They don't. There's no way in the world. So I went to a private school, predominantly white school, and culturally, one of very few black kids in my class. Of course, 99% of us were on the sports teams.
We'll have a different discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole
about
different.
private
That's a
school
whole
later.
different story. But in order to figure out where you want to go to school, you had to go to either events like recruiter events, which we went to, or look through the phone book thing and figure it out. And luckily, I had two older cousins, Karim and Dwayne. They were both at Tuskegee at the time, and they were saying, "Look, you, excellent student, A student across the board, plus athlete, you need to go to a HBCU." And I was already making my decisions based on dumb stuff. Like I was going to go to Georgetown because Alonzo Mourning was there.
Basketball.
Or Patrick Ewing was there. Or, which is stupid. I ended up applying to Tuskegee, Georgetown, and Rutgers. That was how you got to college, is how I got to college with these methods. And so when it was our daughter's time to go to college, she got the same leeway that you and I got, which was to decide what school you want to go to.
Yeah.
And how'd that go?
We gave her parameters. So like it was, what coast do you want to go to school on? What's the weather? Come up with like 5 different parameters that you have. I don't remember how many she had, maybe like 5 or 8 schools. I don't think
None
it
of them
was
made
8.
any sense.
But anyway, she narrowed it down to University of Tampa.
She performed really well at
She
University
did.
of
She
Tampa.
knocked it out the park. Yeah.
Yeah. But it wasn't the best choice for her.
Yeah.
And the reason that we're even having this discussion is because that moved us as a family.
Yeah.
It was a mismatch for her. And as Maurice says, Dr. Maurice Dolberry says on the Super Fantastic Show, colleges are a match to be made, not a title to be earned. If you're going to do it right.
Yeah.
And he's saying that, like, you could say, how many black kids do we hear from that always say, I want to go to Yale, but like, for what reason?
Right.
You can never articulate what reason, except
Right.
for, you believe Ivy League, and then, you pick from you basically put them on a dartboard, or which one shines to you in terms of which logo you like best. But a match to be made means that you have to know yourself, or somebody has to know you, and
Yeah.
you have to know what the experience at the school is going to be like, and if that's going to be a good match for you. And that's where it didn't really work in letting kids decide their own way. So we decided to make a change in our family. What's that?
Instead of it being the first decision that the kids made as adults, which is how I used to think it should be done, we decided that it would be the last decision that we made as their parents.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And how that looked in practical use, because people might be hearing this and saying that it sounds like, we're iron fisting it. And I'm an iron fist. I'm a Dr. Claw kind of parent, for sure. We know who they are. We spent way too many hours with them.
Yeah.
And for Michael, we gave him a bracket. You could choose any college that you want to go to within this bracket.
Yeah.
These are the ones. Bam, bam, bam. And we knew that if he chose any of the colleges that we pre-selected, no matter what he chose, he couldn't make a bad decision.
Yeah.
And so far, I think that is the wise decision. I think it really worked out. And I'm happy with, getting to the point where I'm not worried about, is he going to a place that is in a city that's too big or a city that's too small, or does it match or mismatch his personality, or do I not know enough about these schools?
Yeah, really.
We did the homework.
Because we didn't know anything about University of Tampa.
No, heck no. I didn't know anything about Georgetown. I didn't know anything about Tuskegee. I didn't know anything about, I knew about Rutgers. I spent a lot of time at Rutgers, but
You were that was way too close. It was down the street.
the walking distance.
Yeah, it was way too close to home.
Yeah. Instead of being the first adult decision for kids, it is now the last adult decision as parents for us
Yeah.
in our family. And I think it works out really well.
Yeah, I think that's the best. That was the best decision on our part.
Yeah,
Luckily, we don't have to practice that anymore, but we'll see how it goes.
that's it.